What if your entire future depended on a stranger showing up at your door just 1 minute before midnight? What if everything you held dear, your child, your home, your entire world, could be taken away unless someone, anyone, stepped forward with a heart big enough to change the course of your life? This is the story of a man who needed a wife by midnight to save his daughter, and of the woman who knocked at his door at 11:59 p.m. You won't believe what happened next. If you believe in fate, love, and second chances, like this video and subscribe to Kindness Stories, because some stories are too beautiful to be left untold. Caleb Harper never expected life to be this hard. Once upon a time, he had dreams. He imagined owning a small auto repair shop, spending weekends with his wife and daughter, maybe even taking road trips across the Rockies. But those dreams died the day cancer took his wife, Emily. One day, they were planning Lily's 5th birthday, and the next, he was standing alone in a cold hospital corridor holding his daughter's hand, whispering lies like, "Everything's going to be okay," because what else do you say when your heart is breaking? Since that day, he'd done everything alone. Working double shifts at the local garage, fixing engines by day, cleaning out gutters or painting fences by night. There were times he'd gone hungry just to make sure Lily had a proper meal. She never knew. She only knew her daddy loved her more than anything. But love, the courts had said, wasn't enough. It began 2 weeks ago. A knock at the door, a clipboard, a frown. A social worker. Apparently, a concerned neighbor had reported Lily walking to school with shoes that had holes in the soles. It wasn't neglect. It was exhaustion. It was doing your best when the world keeps taking and taking. But the system didn't see the sacrifices. It saw a man on the edge, and a child caught in the middle. "I'm sorry, Mr. Harper," the judge had said, face emotionless. "Unless you can prove a stable, dual-income household by month's end, full custody will be revoked." Caleb's heart had broken again. And now, here he was. 11:43 p.m. A crumpled emergency marriage license on the table. A fake ring from a pawn shop clutched in his trembling hand. He had exhausted every possible path, posted ads in every online group he could find, stood in church parking lots holding a sign that read, "Help me keep my daughter," and even asked a few women he barely knew if they'd consider something crazy and legal, but nothing worked. Until he heard it. A knock. Soft, hesitant, almost unreal. He turned slowly, barely daring to believe. The clock glowed 11:59 p.m. He opened the door, and there she stood. A woman drenched from the cold summer rain. Hair tangled, mascara running, wrapped in a beige trench coat that looked 2 sizes too big. She was shivering, but her eyes were kind. "I saw your post," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the wind. "I don't know why I came, but I think I was supposed to." Caleb blinked. "You're serious?" She nodded. "Claire Bennett, I'm not here for money. Today was supposed to be my wedding day. I left him at the altar. He was controlling. I should have walked away long ago, but I didn't. Today, I finally did." They sat together at the kitchen table. Caleb made her cocoa, his hands shaking as he poured. She held the mug like it was the first warm thing she'd felt in hours. "I read your post 3 times before getting in my car," she said softly. "Something about it wouldn't let me go. Maybe you're not the only one who needs saving." And then Caleb told her everything. About Lily. About the judge. About the final chance slipping through his fingers like sand. She listened, never interrupting, her eyes soft and wide. Then, without a word, Claire reached for the pen and signed her name beside his. Caleb stared. "Why would you do this?" "Because I know what it's like to feel alone at the edge," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "And maybe helping someone else is how we step back from it." As the clock struck midnight, Caleb slipped the ring on her finger. It wasn't fancy, it didn't sparkle, but something about it felt sacred. The next morning, they stood before the judge. The papers were accepted, the home was marked, stabilized. And Lily, clutching Claire's hand like it was the most natural thing in the world, smiled up at the woman she'd just met. That night, Claire moved in, just temporarily, they said. Just until the final social worker check. They both agreed. But what they didn't expect was how quickly fake started to feel real. Claire started leaving little notes for Lily in her lunchbox. She made pancakes with smiley faces. She and Caleb would stay up late talking, not about paperwork, but about books, music, the constellations they could see from the rooftop. Lily began calling her Miss Claire, then simply Mommy Claire. And one evening, while they watched cartoons cuddled under a shared blanket, Claire whispered, "This is the most at peace I've felt in years." But the past always lingers. One evening, Caleb stepped outside and found Claire on the porch, phone in hand. Her ex, begging her to return to Manhattan, offering apologies, promises of a luxury life, trying to remind her of who she used to be. "You heard all that?" she asked when she noticed Caleb. He nodded slowly. "You do deserve better. I thought better meant penthouses and five-star dinners," she said, tears in her voice. "Now I think it means Saturday pancakes and a little girl with light-up shoes." That night, Caleb kissed her. It wasn't dramatic. No swelling music. Just quiet understanding and shared pain. It was enough. Months passed. Claire helped Lily with homework, danced in the kitchen with Caleb, and decorated their small apartment with laughter. The social worker returned for a final check, smiled, and said, "This is one of the most loving homes I've seen in years." Claire's name was now on the lease. Lily's laughter echoed through the hallways. And Caleb, well, he carried something new in his pocket. Not desperation. A ring. Real this time. One crisp autumn night, under the stars in a quiet park, Caleb knelt beside the swing set. Claire was pushing Lily gently, her hair lit gold by the moonlight. "Claire Bennett Harper," he said quietly, "you married me to help me keep my daughter. But somewhere along the way, you helped me find myself, too. I love you. Will you marry me again, this time for real?" Claire covered her mouth in shock, tears brimming. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes. 1,000 times, yes." Lily jumped up and wrapped her arms around them both. "Does this mean we're a real family now?" Caleb smiled. "We've been a real family since the moment she knocked at our door. Because sometimes, the right person shows up just in time, and they don't just save the day. They save your heart. Dizzy if you believe in destiny, in love that finds you when you least expect it, in second chances whispered through midnight knocks. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Kindness Stories. Because the world is full of broken people waiting to be each other's miracle.